I thought about it for a minute. I said, the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is so far from sailors' minds that it isn't even really on the map. They'd rather not even think about it. Even if a few of them knew, theoretically, that the Bermuda Triangle was out there, they wouldn't be able to find it if they wanted to. They would become lost, possibly forever. For the most part, though, they don't want to try. The Bermuda Triangle is scary and confusing. Sailors hear bad things about it. They'd rather just go around it, staying as far away as humanly possible. I know that sounds like an exaggeration. And sure, to some extent, it probably is. For instance, there isn't anything about me that is analogous to the Bermuda Triangle's rogue wave phenomenon. At least I hope there isn't. I don't capsize sailors, much less entire ships. I keep myself to myself, you know? In fact, I think that's probably what the Bermuda Triangle is up to. It doesn't mean to do any harm, and it's actually pretty nice once you get to know it. It's just that Bermuda doesn't know how to handle itself when somebody sails into its territory, because that hardly ever happens. It hasn't had much chance to practice, and it's used to things going a certain way. So if a sailor does come around, it gets a little nervous, freaks the fuck out, and creates hurricane-like devastation in every direction around it. And then it gets embarrassed and sad and calls its friends. I do not present this theory because I feel sorry for myself. It's just the way things are. Not all of us can be born lighthouses, or nobody would ever get anything done and there would be more sex happening than you could even believe. I just think it's important that I make my triangular nature clear up front, because later on in the book, you might have a hard time believing that a real live person could be capable of such mortifying attempts at romance. You might worry that I don't even realize how terrible I am at basically everything to do with love. So I want you to know that I warned you. I'm aware. I've been collecting evidence for 25 years, and now I've gone ahead and documented it here in this book. The conclusions are irrefutable. My name is Katie Heaney, and I'm a Bermuda Triangle. As a result, and possibly as a result of other factors like luck and being interested in people who are unavailable and/or terrible for me, I've been single for my entire life. And I don't mean that I haven't had any major long-term relationships, or that I haven't dated anyone in a really long time, or that I've only dated people for a few months at a time. I mean that I have been wholly and totally single for my entire life. Not one boyfriend. Not one short-term dating situation. Not one person with whom I regularly hung out and kissed on the face. To be honest, I don't even know that I could fairly say that I've been on more than one real date. There were a couple of times when I hung out with a boy I liked and he paid for me, and we were both single, so I think those were dates. But then like a week later he had a girlfriend that wasn't me and I was cursing his very existence, so it's hard to say for sure. But more on that later. People have interesting reactions when you tell them you've never had a boyfriend and you're over the age of 21. Most girls are pretty good at acting like they aren't shocked because most of them have at least one friend who doesn't date as much as the others, for whom they've learned to be uncondescendingly empathetic. When I'm having one of my "something is seriously wrong with me for being alone" phases, which are, thankfully, relatively infrequent, my friends have learned to conjure up relatives, mythical acquaintances, Grey's Anatomy characters who have gone even longer than I have without having a boyfriend. So it's totally not weird at all that I haven't had one yet. Practically everybody, except for every last person they can think of at the moment, has been single for as long as I have. My darling, patient friends tell me that I'm still single only because I'm picky, and because I haven't met the right person yet. This would feel truer if I hadn't been shut down by quite so many wrong people that I, despite my allegedly high